Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. The past, it's over. It's gone. It's not coming back. You can visit it in your mind, but you can't live there. You can learn from it. Yes, you should learn from it, but don't unpack your bags and settle in regret. Because while you're staring at that closed door behind you, you're missing the open one right in front of your face. Done. Some of you are still rehearsing conversations that ended years ago. You're still reliving mistakes. Done. Playing reruns of failure like it's your favorite show. Done. Let me ask you something. How many times are you going to watch the same episode before you realize the plot doesn't change? You see, your past was a lesson. Done. Not a life sentence. You've got breath in your body. You've got a heartbeat. You've got today. That's a gift. That's your power. Done. And every second you waste looking backward, you're robbing the present. You're robbing yourself. Now, maybe someone walked away. Done. Maybe you lost that job. Maybe you messed up big time. I'm not here to say it didn't hurt. I'm not here to pretend it didn't shake you. Done. But I am here to say it didn't break you. You're still standing. And if you're still standing, you're still in the fight. So pick your head up. Done. Stop carrying guilt like it's part of your identity. Let go of shame like it's your shadow. Done. You're not who you were. You're who you choose to become next. Your past may have built you, but it does not define you. Understand this. Done. Forward is the only direction that matters. Faith moves forward. Growth moves forward. Healing, purpose, destiny, they all move forward. So let the past stay where it belongs, behind you. You've got something ahead that deserves your full attention. You've got a future calling your name louder than any memory whispering doubt. Answer that call. Do not focus on the past. It's gone. Done. And you're still here. Too many people are dragging yesterday into today like a bag of bricks. They wake up each morning, done, but they're not really starting fresh. They carry the weight of old decisions, old pain, and old failures like it's part of who they are. But let me be clear, the past is a chapter, not the whole story. It's not your home. It's not where you're meant to stay. Done. You can't build a new life while standing in the rubble of an old one. What's done is done. The clock doesn't tick backward. The moments you wish you could change are already written in ink. There is no editing the past. No matter how many times you replay it in your mind, it's not going to change. That conversation you wish had gone differently, that opportunity you let slip, that mistake you regret, it's gone, done. That version of you doesn't exist anymore. The world has moved on, and you need to move with it. There's a reason why your car's windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror. Because where you're going is more important than where you've been. Done. But some people keep driving through life while staring in the mirror. And you know what happens when you do that. You crash. You miss what's ahead. You miss what's possible. Life isn't about holding on to the past. Done. It's about showing up for the present with the lessons you've learned, not the wounds you've kept open. Done. Some of you are still defined by things that happened 5, 10, even 20 years ago. Still stuck on what somebody said. Still haunted by what you didn't do. And because of that, you're not showing up fully now. You've built an identity around something that should have been let go. You've built habits around a mindset that no longer serves you. Done. You're playing small because you're afraid to make the same mistake again. But avoiding risk isn't healing. Staying stagnant isn't safety. Done. It's just another form of fear. When you live in the past, you rob yourself of the present. You miss out on the relationships right in front of you. You sabotage your own progress. You downplay your own worth. And worse, you start believing that your best days are behind you. That's a dangerous lie. Done. The truth is, as long as you're breathing, you have more to do, more to give, more to become. I've done. But that only happens when you stop treating the past like a prophecy. It's not. It's a reference point, not a destination. Done. And let's not confuse reflection with obsession. It's okay to look back for insight. It's okay to acknowledge what happened. But you don't need to build a shrine to it. You don't need to replay it like a broken record. Growth happens when you reflect, take the lesson, done, and move forward. That's where your power lies, not in trying to rewrite yesterday, but in choosing how you show up today. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are not your lowest moment. You are not the bad decision, the broken relationship, the missed opportunity. You are who you decide to be now. And that choice, that power, lives in the present. But you can't fully claim it if you're still arguing with the past, still trying to change what can't be changed. Stop letting old versions of yourself control your new chapters. Stop letting fear dressed up as memory keep you from your next move. Done. You've got something in front of you that the past can't offer. Possibility, and possibility doesn't live in old wounds, old mistakes, done, or old stories. It lives in action, in belief, in the courage to start again without dragging the weight of what went wrong. Done. You don't owe your past anything. It had its time. It served its purpose. Maybe it shaped you. Maybe it taught you. Maybe it broke you open. Done. But now it's time to release it. Time to stop giving it rent-free space in your mind. Time to stop sacrificing today because of something that already happened. Holding on to the past won't change it, but letting go of it, that might just change everything. Everyone makes mistakes. That's part of being human. You say the wrong thing, take the wrong turn, done. Trust the wrong person, miss the right opportunity. Sometimes it's small, a moment you could have handled better. Sometimes it's big, something that shifted the course of your life. But no matter the size, a mistake is not the end of your story. Done. It's a part of your journey. It's a chapter, not the conclusion. The danger comes not from the mistake itself, but from staying stuck in it, replaying it, and letting it define everything that comes after. There's a difference between learning and dwelling. Done. Learning means looking at what happened with honest eyes. It means asking what you could have done differently, understanding what triggered the wrong decision, and using that insight to do better next time. Dwelling is different. Done. Dwelling keeps you trapped in the moment. It makes you relive the guilt. It turns reflection into punishment. Instead of growing from the experience, you start wearing it like a label. Something that tells you who you are instead of what you've been through. Done. People who dwell on their mistakes often become afraid to try again. They lose confidence. They second guess every move. Done. They start shrinking in their own lives, playing safe, avoiding risk, not because they lack potential, done, but because they're still haunted by the time they got it wrong. But success isn't built on perfection. It's built on persistence. It's built on learning quickly and moving forward. If you avoid failure, you avoid progress. If you're not making mistakes, you're not reaching. You're not growing. You're just staying in your comfort zone, hoping nothing goes wrong again. Done. Some of the most powerful lessons you'll ever learn will come wrapped in failure. Mistakes have a way of teaching you what ease and comfort never could. Done. They teach you about timing, discipline, integrity, resilience. They show you your blind spots. They force you to face your ego, your fears, your assumptions. But you only get those lessons if you're willing to face the mistake without getting lost in it. Done. If you can look at it with curiosity instead of judgment. If you can say, yes, that happened. Now what can I take from it? The truth is, you don't grow by pretending it didn't happen, But you also don't grow by carrying shame with you every day. Shame paralyzes. It makes you believe you are the mistake. It tells you that you're not worthy of better because of what you've done before. That voice in your head that keeps bringing up your lowest moment, that's not your wisdom talking. That's your fear. Done. And fear doesn't want you to rise. It wants you to stay small. Real growth happens when you can separate your identity from your past behavior. Done. You are not the mistake. You are the person who lived through it, who saw it, who felt it, and who now knows better. That's growth. That's wisdom. That's strength. And strength isn't pretending it didn't hurt. It's choosing to stand up again, even while it still does. Learning from mistakes requires self-respect. It means believing that you're still worthy of growth, even if you've fallen short before. It means trusting that one wrong decision, or even 10 wrong decisions, doesn't mean you can't make the right one today. And it means being willing to move forward without dragging guilt behind you like a shadow. It's easy to point fingers at yourself long after the moment has passed, to say, I should have known better, or I messed everything up. But hindsight is a gift you didn't have back then. Don't judge the past version of yourself for not knowing what you know now. Done. That version of you made the best decision they could with the information they had. If you've learned something since, good. That's the point. Done. Growth is the whole reason we fall in the first place. When you dwell on mistakes, you give them more power than they deserve. Done. You let them rewrite your story. But when you learn from them, you take your power back. You choose to be the author again. You say, that happened, but it's not the end. You shift from being stuck to being in motion, from being ashamed to being aware. And awareness is what transforms experience into wisdom. You can't move forward while looking backward. Done. You can't build a better future while dragging the weight of yesterday's choices. But when you learn, adjust, and keep going, you show the world and yourself that no mistake is final unless you let it be. Regret is a quiet thief. It doesn't announce itself loudly. It slips in through your thoughts when you're alone. It shows up in the pause between actions, in the silence after conversations. Done. It creeps into your mind when you should be moving forward, pulling your attention backward like a magnet to what could have been, what should have been. Done. What didn't go your way? And before you know it, you're not living in the now. You're stuck in a story that can't be changed. Regret is heavy. Done. It slows you down. It clouds your judgment. It convinces you that you missed your only shot, that the best part of your life is already behind you, and that everything from here on out is just a consequence of that one wrong move. But that's not truth. That's fear talking in disguise. Done. That's insecurity dressed up like wisdom. Regret takes your eyes off the path in front of you and glues them to a door that's already closed. Done. When you live in regret, you're not just remembering the past, you're reliving it. You're replaying the same scene over and over, hoping for a different ending. But no matter how many times you rewind the tape, it ends the same. Done. And while your mind is busy with what you would have done differently, the present moment is passing you by. Done. The opportunity to create something new is being missed while you focus on something that no longer exists outside your memory. Some people treat regret like a form of penance. They think if they feel bad long enough, it will somehow redeem them or make up for what went wrong. Done. But there's no redemption in dwelling. Regret, when left unchecked, becomes self-punishment. It becomes an anchor that keeps you stuck in guilt, shame. Done. And hesitation. And the longer you stay there, the harder it becomes to believe in your ability to move forward with purpose. The present demands your focus, It requires your full attention, your energy, your belief. But regret is greedy, done. It takes all that and invests it in something you can't touch, can't change, can't undo. It's like pouring water into a cracked glass. No matter how much you give it, it'll never hold. Meanwhile, your future, the one you still have power over, waits for you to return, to show up, to take ownership of what you can still build. Done. Regret is often tied to perfectionism. It feeds on the idea that things should have gone a certain way, that you should have known better, done better, been better. But that's a fantasy, not reality. In the moment you made the choice you thought was right, maybe it was the wrong call. Maybe it led to pain, maybe it cost you something valuable. But even then, it was part of the process. Nobody walks a perfect path. Everyone has missteps. Done. What separates growth from stagnation isn't avoiding regret. It's refusing to let regret become your compass. Done. You can't focus on what's in front of you if your mind is always in rewind. Every new chance, done, every present moment gets filtered through the lens of what went wrong before. You hesitate when you should act. You doubt when you should trust. Done. You hold back when you should lean in. Regret makes you play small because it convinces you that big moves come with too much risk. But the truth is, I've done. Staying frozen in regret is the biggest risk of all, because you risk losing time, losing joy, losing the life you could be living now. To reclaim your focus, you have to accept the past. That doesn't mean you have to like it. It doesn't mean you have to forget it. Done. It means you stop fighting it. You stop wishing it were different. You stop measuring today by a standard set by yesterday's failure. You stop giving regret control over your choices. You shift your attention to what you can affect. The present moment, the next step, done. The next right decision. Regret will keep whispering to you. It will try to remind you of what you missed, of who walked away, done. Of what you said or didn't say. But you don't have to listen. You don't have to let that voice dictate your mood, your mindset, your momentum. The more time you spend looking back, the less you see what's possible right now. And what's possible in the present is where your real power lies. Failure is something that happens, not something you are. But too many people take failure personally. They wear it like a name tag, done. Like it says something permanent about their value or ability. One mistake, one bad season, one wrong decision, done. And suddenly they start to believe they're not good enough, not capable, not worthy of success. But failure is not an identity. It's an event, a result, a moment in time. And moments pass. The problem starts when people begin to confuse outcomes with identity. Just because something didn't work doesn't mean you're broken. Just because a plan fell apart doesn't mean you're a failure. The truth is, done. The way you respond to that moment matters more than the moment itself. Your response, your decision after the fall, that's what defines you, done. Because you don't control everything that happens, but you do control your reaction. And your reaction is a choice. Life is full of choices, done. Every single day, you choose how to show up. You choose how to speak to yourself. You choose what to believe. And those choices add up. They shape your direction. They shape your future. You are not trapped by your past unless you choose to stay there. Done. You are not limited by your setbacks unless you choose to stop trying. The power is always in your hands, no matter what you've been through. Failure is feedback. It's information. It's life showing you something that needs to change, something you might need to do differently next time. If you're wise, you'll listen. If you're honest, you'll learn. But if you start to believe that failure defines you, you miss the lesson. Done. You get caught in a story that keeps playing the same way. And the only way to rewrite that story is to take responsibility. Not for the failure itself, but for the next choice you make because of it. Some people carry their failures like scars they're ashamed of. They try to hide them, bury them, done. Pretend they don't exist. But those scars are proof that you tried, proof that you risked something. And there's courage in that. Done. There's strength in admitting that something didn't work out and choosing to keep going anyway. That choice, the decision to rise again, says more about who you are than any failure ever could. You're going to face obstacles. Done. You're going to fall short sometimes. That's part of the process. What matters is that you don't let those moments become permanent definitions. Done. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to grow past your worst days. Done. The choices you make in the present are more powerful than anything that happened in the past. You can't go back and undo it, but you can choose differently now. There are people who've failed over and over, but they never stopped moving forward. They refused to let the world's judgment become their truth. Done. They kept showing up, kept adjusting, kept making new choices, and eventually those choices led them to success. Not because they were perfect, done, but because they were persistent. Because they understood that identity is not built on outcomes, it's built on decisions. Consistent, intentional, courageous decisions. It's easy to let failure shrink you, to make you cautious, guarded, afraid to try again. But that fear is a choice too. Done. Just like courage is, just like hope is, just like the belief that you are capable of creating something new, even if the last thing fell apart. The more you choose to believe in yourself, the less control failure has over you. The more you focus on your actions instead of your outcomes, the more resilient you become. You're not here to be flawless. You're here to grow. And growth requires movement, and movement requires choice. Done. Every time you choose to take another step, to speak kindly to yourself, to try again, even when it's hard, that's you taking your power back. Done. That's you separating who you are from what didn't work. That's you standing in truth instead of shame. You are not defined by your lowest point. You are defined by how you respond to it. You are defined by the way you rise, the way you rebuild, the way you keep choosing forward. Every moment gives you another chance to decide who you are. And every time you choose courage over fear, effort over excuses, growth over comfort, done. You're shaping a future that's no longer ruled by failure. No matter how much you analyze the past, replay the moments, done. Or wish things had gone differently, it won't move you forward. Growth doesn't happen in the rear view. Growth doesn't happen by standing still, done, paralyzed by what you lost or by what went wrong. It happens when you make a decision to move, even when the way forward isn't clear, done. Even when you're still carrying the pain, the doubt, or the fear. Progress is always made in motion, and motion only exists in one direction, forward. Done. Staying stuck in the same mindset, the same habits, the same comfort zone will only keep you in the same results. Forward doesn't mean perfect. It doesn't mean you've figured it all out. It doesn't mean every step feels certain. It means you're choosing momentum over stagnation. Done. It means you're deciding that the next version of you matters more than the version that failed or fell short or got overlooked. Forward is not just a direction. It's a mindset. It's a commitment to evolution, even when it's uncomfortable. Done. People often wait for everything to be lined up perfectly before they move. They wait until they feel ready, until the fear is gone, until the past is fully behind them. But waiting doesn't bring growth. Waiting doesn't create new outcomes. Done. Growth begins when you move despite the fear, despite the unfinished healing, despite the uncertainty. Because clarity often comes from action. Done, not before it. You learn who you are by showing up, not by thinking about showing up. You discover strength through effort, not through avoidance. Done. It's tempting to look back and wish you'd started sooner, handled things better, made different choices. But every time you do that, done, you're diverting energy away from where it's needed most. The present. Done. You're taking fuel meant for your future and wasting it on a story that's already over. Growth doesn't come from rehearsing regret. Done. It comes from focusing on what's still in your control. And what's in your control is the decision you make right now. Forward can look like big moves, but often it's small steps done consistently. It's choosing discipline over distraction. It's having the hard conversation instead of avoiding it. Done. It's setting the boundary. It's learning the skill. It's saying no to what no longer serves you and yes to what aligns with your purpose. These aren't always dramatic moments, but they build momentum. And momentum is the fuel of growth. Even if it feels slow, it's still progress. Even if it's quiet, it's still movement. Growth means shedding what no longer fits. That might be old beliefs, old habits, old circles. And that's not easy because the past is familiar, even if it's painful. The past is predictable, even if it's unfulfilling. Done. But forward requires you to let go of the identity that was shaped by survival and start building one shaped by purpose. It demands that you outgrow your excuses, that you stop negotiating with fear, that you stop defining yourself by what happened and start shaping yourself by what's next. The path ahead may not look like the one you imagined. It might be harder. It might come with more resistance than you expected, but that's part of the process. Resistance doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It often means you're right where you need to be. Growth lives in discomfort. Done. It lives in pushing through what's unfamiliar. The version of you who can handle more, lead more, impact more. That version gets built in the stretch, not in the safety of staying the same. Done. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to refuse to go backward. You have to decide that standing still is not an option, because staying in the same place emotionally, mentally, spiritually, that's its own kind of failure. Forward is how you break patterns. Forward is how you create change. Forward is how you take control of your life. Every step counts. Every day you choose discipline over comfort. Every time you show up even when you're tired, you're building a life that's bigger than your past. Done. Growth demands that you stop repeating old chapters, that you stop asking why it happened and start asking what you're going to do about it. Done. That you stop measuring yourself against who you were and start measuring yourself against who you're becoming. That kind of mindset, done. That kind of direction is where transformation happens. It's not about what's behind you. It's about what's still possible in front of you. Done. And you only get there by going forward. Most people think holding on means they're being strong. They believe if they grip tighter, stay longer, done. Keep replaying the story, they'll somehow fix it, change it, make it make sense. But the truth is, real strength is in the release. Done. It takes courage to stop trying to rewrite a chapter that's already been written. Done. It takes strength to accept that some things won't be what you hoped for. And that holding on is costing you more than letting go ever could. Done. Strength is not measured by how much you endure. It's measured by what you're willing to walk away from when it no longer serves your growth. Letting go doesn't mean you didn't care. It doesn't mean it didn't matter. It doesn't erase the effort, the love, the time, or the hope you invested. What it means is you finally decided to stop carrying what's been breaking you. Done. It means you've recognized that peace is more valuable than proving a point, that healing matters more than history. Done. That moving on doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. There's a quiet kind of power in being able to say, this is no longer mine to carry, and stepping away with grace. It's hard because we're wired to want closure. We want the full picture, done the perfect ending, the clean explanation. But life doesn't always give that. Sometimes the apology never comes. Sometimes the answers never arrive. Done. Sometimes the person you wanted to understand, you just never will. And if you keep waiting for that resolution before you move on, you'll stay stuck. Done. You'll give your future away to a moment that's long gone. You'll delay your healing in the name of fairness or clarity that may never come. Done. Letting go is choosing yourself. It's choosing your peace, your future, your energy. Done. It's refusing to sacrifice your present to make sense of your past. That doesn't mean you forget what happened. Done. It means you no longer allow it to define you. It means you stop replaying the same memory, the same betrayal, the same disappointment on a loop in your mind. You stop letting it control how you show up, how you trust, how you move. Letting go is how you get your power back. Sometimes what you need to release isn't a person. It's a belief. I've done. Maybe it's the belief that you have to be perfect to be worthy. Maybe it's the idea that your value is based on someone else's opinion. Done. Maybe it's the story you've been telling yourself about what you can't do, what you don't deserve, what's not possible for you. Done. Letting go of these internal narratives is just as powerful as walking away from toxic relationships. Because the stories we tell ourselves shape the lives we live. And if the story no longer serves your purpose, it's time to let it go. Letting go is a process. It doesn't happen all at once. Some days you'll feel strong and certain. Other days, you'll want to go back to what's familiar, even if it hurts. That's part of the journey. Done. You don't let go once. You keep choosing to let go every time the past tries to pull you back. Every time your thoughts wander to what you lost. Every time you're tempted to reopen a wound. Every time you want to explain yourself to someone who never listened. You remind yourself, this is not where I'm meant to stay. It's not weakness to feel pain. It's not weakness to grieve what you had or what could have been. Done. But it is strength to feel all that and still choose freedom. It's strength to carry the lesson without carrying the weight. It's strength to say, this chapter taught me something, and still be willing to turn the page. Growth requires that you make peace with what didn't work out. Done. That you stop expecting the past to give you something it no longer can. That you trust the space you're creating will be filled with something better. Letting go is not about cutting off emotion. It's about honoring what you felt without letting it imprison you. Done. It's about being able to look back without being pulled back. It's about choosing to live not in reaction to your pain, but in alignment with your purpose. Every time you let go of something heavy, you create space for something lighter. Every time you release something that's holding you down, you rise a little higher. Letting go is how you clear the path for what's next. Done. Letting go is how you become who you were always meant to be. Thank you